All over the world, humanity is waking up to globalism, and Alex Jones, our boss, has been at the tip of the spear when it comes to this. And we're seeing a lot of controlled narrative coming out of the mainstream media. We, of course, don't have that here at Infowars. And Alex has talked about this intel that he has access to. We have an article that's up on our website. It talks about how the Democrats are going to try to actually stop the inauguration if they can, blocking Trump from taking office. Of course, we know we're 11 days out. The elites are scrambling to derail the inauguration with only days left. We see a picture of Chuck Schumer. Leanne McAdoo joins me in studio. We know that they're capable of this, Leanne. We know that they've got the black hearts that Hillary Clinton was alluding to, and they're the real purveyors of evil, and we are in a 21st century warfare here. Do you think that they can do it based on the intel that we have?
You know, nothing would surprise me at this point, but we knew that the globalists weren't going to take this defeat lying down. There's no way that they're going to allow this, all the 100 years that they've been plotting this new world order, they're not going to just take this lying down. So they really are scrambling, but they don't realize that they have reached their expiration date, their agenda, their plans, the people voted, and they have spoken, and they don't agree with this progressive policies that are being put forth. So
we saw Soros, like a petulant child, say that Trump was a direct threat to the New World Order. I could not be happier with that. And we see people that are at the tip of the spear, like Alex, like Breitbart, like Drudge, that have really pierced the narrative, the lies of mainstream media, and they are fighting mad. And the only thing that they have left are the shred, the little remnant of Democrats left on the Hill, because we know that for the first time in over almost 100 years, Republicans control the presidency, the House, and the Senate, and a lot of governorships too. So we know that they're clenching the power that they have, but trying to derail the inauguration. I mean, where is their semblance of law and order?
Well, they've gone completely mad. So, let's not try to make sense of the insanity, because they have absolutely gone completely insane. But the people that are speaking out, all of your tech billionaires, your Hollywood elite, all of your elected representatives that are career politicians, these were the people that are set to really prosper from the globalist agenda. That's why they're so upset with this. That's why they've got to stop this no matter what. They're not there to serve the American people. If they were, they'd listen to how we voted. You
mentioned the Golden Globes last night, and for those of you who watched it who were not playing Nintendo 64 or Mario Brothers, whipping out those games in the 1980s, if you had the stomach to watch it, you saw liberal elites take to the stage, and they're so out of touch. Meryl Streep commenting on how Donald Trump was a bully. Well, she doesn't really resonate with the American people, the ordinary, average American person, perhaps the factory worker making $30,000 a year that doesn't want their job shipped to Mexico. What does she have in common with that person? And to take that platform and to lecture politically, it makes me nauseous personally, no more so than what our own president is up to, mind you. And we have a lot of information coming out about this Iran deal that he made. Of course, if you recall, it was originally exchanged for hostages, even though we don't negotiate or pay ransom for hostages. He did, if you recall. And the original estimate was $400 million, and that didn't sit well with anyone. They let it trickle out. Then it came to light that it was $10 billion. Now it looks like that he was lowballing the cost of this deal, if you can believe that. And we've seen them capture maritime crew that have been at sea, that are U.S. citizens.
Force them to apologize, get on their knees and beg for forgiveness.
We're paying them so that they don't start a nuclear war. Meanwhile, we have no concrete availability besides sending in inspectors to even verify that they're not using the gold, cash, and assets to start a nuclear war.
Exactly. Well, that's what I thought, with this article that really stood out to me. Obviously, we were told that the money that they returned to Iran was Iran's money that they had held up for many decades, and it was some interest earned on that money. But here they're basically bragging about the 10 billion is a very small figure. They're actually bragging that it was much more than that, according to the cash funds received, as well as gold, bullion, and other things. But this is money. The $10 billion figure offered by the Obama administration should be viewed as a conservative estimate for what Iran was paid to stay at the table and negotiate. This is what they were paid to stay at the table, not the money that they were paid because it's their money. This is $10 billion that they're to negotiate with this deal. No wonder Donald Trump is saying, Obama, your deals are bad. We're going to renegotiate your deals. This is how he's making deals with Iran.
Right.
Please don't build your nuclear bomb. We'll give you billions of dollars. Please don't walk away from the table.
I mean, you would think that he would understand that the money that we're giving them frees them up to invest in their nuclear program and building missiles. You know, they've explicitly threatened the U.S. They've explicitly threatened. They chant death to Israel, death to the U.S.
Right. Well,
And
John Kerry actually said he admitted that money from this Iran nuclear deal would go directly to terrorism. They already know that Iran is actually using some of this money to funnel toward terrorism. So they're trying to fight ISIS there in Syria. Meanwhile, Iran is helping to prop up Assad. So they know that they're basically going against their own best interests. As well, Iran is getting a natural uranium batch from Russia. Ooh, I wonder where Russia got all that uranium from. Thanks, Hillary Clinton. But they're also using that money to expand their military spending and develop missiles.
You make an excellent point. Hillary Clinton was one of the #1 uranium dealers in the country, in the world, I should say. And not to get off topic here, but a Kazakh billionaire that dealt in uranium mysteriously died last year. We should spend some time talking about that this week. But more, what's on the table right now? Iran could potentially be building nuclear arms while they chant death to us, and they've taken our money because we have a president whose foreign policy is so rogue and so dismissive of American interests. You know, I worry about the 11 days left that he has in office and the damage that he is doing. It's inconceivable to our country and our interest abroad. And thank God for Trump, frankly. And going back to ISIS for a minute, because we saw here in the States, in Fort Lauderdale this past week, someone pledged to ISIS, and the commentary was, well, he wasn't authentically born Muslim. He still pledged to ISIS to live within a walking distance of the only mosque in his town, and killed 5 people in a Fort Lauderdale airport, injuring 8 others. We see acts of terrorism across the globe. We saw another truck kill 4 people in Jerusalem this week. I was finding an article about this because we kind of got lost in the sauce this week. 2 of the 4 Israeli soldiers that were killed with that truck ramming in eastern Jerusalem were in fact American citizens. They'd just gotten off a bus, this educational trip, and they were in fact 2 of the people that were run over by the terrorist who was pledging allegiance to ISIS. So we have a serious problem on our hands, and this article, it highlights that for me. And not to downplay the fact that people died that weren't Americans, but obviously we're broadcasting this from America. We care about Americans living abroad, and it should be said that half of the victims in this were actually American citizens. They were.
And it's just, I think it's really unbelievable that a lot of people are pushing back. You know, this the Fort Lauderdale shooter, how, you know, he was Puerto Rican, U.S. citizen. Islam is a religion. It's an ideology. It's not your ethnicity or whatever. You can, you know, many people are born again Christians. You're not born that way into that certain ideology. You choose to follow that religion. And so, yeah, you know, I think it is a really tragic and something that we're having to deal with worldwide that we see. And like you say, you know, now we're going to be dealing with a different president who's going to take a different tact. I will say, today we had a U.S. Navy destroyer fire warning shots at an Iranian vessel, and Trump now vowed that any Iranian vessels that harass the U.S. Navy in the Gulf would be shot out of the water. So now today we see, so now they're kind of testing that there was this Iranian vessel. It was charging toward the U.S. Navy ship, which was actually escorting some other ships. Very unprofessional, they say. They were approaching at a high level of speed with weapons manned, and they disregarded repeated warnings. So some warning shots were fired at them. So basically we have the Iranian, their military playing chicken with the U.S. Navy there, and totally disrespectful. And yet they want to say that the mutual animosity has been eased, of course,
because
with Obama's. Yeah, because Obama paid them a lot of tax dollars. Lifted the sanctions. But clearly they haven't been eased because they're sitting here playing chicken with the U.S. Navy.
Right. We're talking about a culture that if you're caught practicing Christianity out in the open, it's called apostasy. It's punishable by death. And we covered this on Infowars a few weeks ago. The same Iran that is jailing Christians, the same Iran that requires the #1 soccer player that's female in their country to not go out without her head covered, even on a soccer field, for crying out loud, a very archaic way of looking at life and civilization. And not to disrespect whatever people believe, because that's fine with me, but I'm going to tell you, I really have a problem, and we're running out of time here, with our president propping up regimes that do not have our interest at heart.
Yeah, with their kiddie theme parks with where the kids can practice being little jihadis and
Right.
chanting "Death to America." Gotta love it. I think they love us.
In case you haven't heard, Infowars has become the most influential media outlet in America. We're making freedom go viral. And now we are proud to announce a new weapon in the epic battle against the globalists. Infowars Prime, where you can watch live high-definition feeds of The Alex Jones Show, plus exclusive insider videos from the Infowars crew and behind-the-scenes action. Go to Infowars.com/app and download today. Infowars Prime is available right now for your iPhone or Android. You will have access to exclusive videos that you can't see anywhere else. And that means live coverage of events and breaking news on location as it happens. You can also take advantage of amazing deals from the Infowars store that are only available for Infowars Prime subscribers. That's Infowars Prime at Infowars.com/app. And if you can hear my voice, you are the resistance.